Hey guys, I'm Jack with Freedom Homestead, and on this video we're going to be cooking for you. We're actually going to be using our electric smoker and smoking some boneless pork loin. I went to the store today and bought a pork loin roast, and I had them cut this up in 1-inch thick slices. So here's how we're going to prepare them to get them in the smoker. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to dab them just to make sure that they're dry. You don't want them wet. You don't want any water, moisture on them. We'll flip these over, get this side. So now that I've got them patted dry, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a dry rub on these. This is a dry rub that I have been using for about a year now. It seems to be one of our favorites here at Freedom Homestead. We love the taste of this. It goes great with pork, with chicken, with steak. I coated a brisket with this and smoked a brisket for about 10 hours. It was amazing. I highly recommend it. And it actually is called Everything Rub. It is by Loot Booty BBQ. And you can find this at Cabela's is where I actually go and buy this stuff. So I know people like to mix up their own rub, but I have found that this is pretty much exactly to our liking and our taste. Now, to get the dry rub to actually adhere good to the pork loin, I'm actually going to use a little bit of oil, just barely enough to just put just a little bit on each side. So not much. I'm just going to put a little dab of oil on each one, just a little bit. That's a little too much, but I'm going to rub it in. I'm just going to rub this in. Notice I have one hand with a glove on. It's kind of the working hand with the food, and then I have one that's free, and that's going to be opening and closing the lid and getting everything done with my free hand. So let's rub these in, and then I'm going to flip them over. Alright, now that I got these lightly oiled, I'm going to go ahead and open up this, and we're just going to kind of sprinkle this very liberally all on the pork loins. And this is the same way I would probably get pork chops ready as well. And if you have boneless, skinless chicken breast, this is kind of how I prepare all three of those items to put on the smoker. And as I put this on, I can see that it's beginning to soak in, so I'll just go with another little coating here, and then I'm just going to kind of rub it in, pat it in a little bit. And this seasoning, it's got just a tad bit of heat to it, which I like, but it's not overwhelming. It's not, if somebody doesn't like something that's hot and spicy, you can still go with this. It's not going to be overpowering, but it's just enough to taste it. So I really like that. We're going to flip these over now and do the other side. And hopefully in the smoker, it will, as it smokes, it will almost get a little bit of a crust or a bark on each side. Now, smoking these pork loins, that's not going to take an awful lot amount of time compared to, you know, hours and hours and hours with a brisket or a roast or something like that. These are going to go between an hour and a half and 2 hours. I'm going to put the temperature on the smoker at probably right around 250. I have a thermometer, meat thermometer that I put in there, and so I can watch the internal temperature, and when it hits that number, I know it's ready. So well, we've got these prepared now. They're ready to go in the smoker. Now I'm going to go turn on the smoker, get it up to the heat, put some wood chips in it, and once we get that prepared, then I'm going to put these in. Okay, so here's the smoker that I have. It's a master built electric smoker. I've had this now a little over a year and absolutely love it. This thing really does a great job, and I was a little leery about getting an electric smoker, but this has really convinced me how good these little things are. They do such a great job, especially on the briskets. But if you've got a pellet smoker, if you've got a wood or charcoal smoker, just propane, whatever you've got, this recipe will be the same. What we're going to do is set this smoker, get it heated up. I'm going to set it at 250 degrees, and that's going to be our target temperature. Hopefully in an hour and a half to 2 hours this will be cooked and ready. The internal temperature that we're looking for is going to be 165. By the way, also, this tote here behind me I keep next to my smoker. It's got a lot of the material that I use to go along with the smoker. It's got my bags of wood chips. It's got my tongs and gloves and racks that go inside this, my pans that go inside this. It's got spray bottles in here, certain things that I'm smoking. I will spray and keep it moist, and so that's what I've got. Okay, so to set this, just turn it on, hit the bottom element, 225. I'm going to bump it up to 250 and set it, and I'm not going to set the timer just yet because I haven't. I'm just going to let it get up to heat first. So on the side of my smoker, there's a little pull out, and the wood chips are going to go in right here. So the wood chips I'm going to get right now, I have a bag of some mesquite wood chips. These are new. I've not tried the mesquite. Usually I've been using the hickory, but we just use a small handful and put in here. It doesn't take much for this smoker, and usually if we go over an hour, about an hour into the smoking process, I'll put another handful in. But that's really all it's going to take. So we slide this in, give it a twist, and it's going to smoke. Okay, the smoke is rolling. I don't know if you can see the readout here, but it does say it's at 250. So it is time to put in the food, get it smoking. All right. I love this part when I open the door and the smoke rolls. Ha ha ha. All right, so let's put this stuff in. Here on the second rack. All right, and we will close it back up. Okay, so I wanted to show you this cool little meat probe that I got, and right now it's when I put this in the meat, right here it will tell me the temperature. Let me light it back up. Tell me the temperature there. and it will alert me when it reaches 160. I'm going to change that to 165. Go up to 165, set it. Up top here it says pork. You can switch it to poultry, fish, beef, veal, lamb. It's really cool, and it's also magnetic, so it will just attach to the side of the smoker. I can put this in the meat, close the door, and this cord's about 3 feet long. So we're going to try it out for the very first time and just see how it does. The brand here is PAM XI. So PAM XI, I just bought it off Amazon. I can't really recall how much it cost, but again, it wasn't that expensive. I was just looking for something cool and digital that I could set outside my smoker, and one reason I bought it is because it did have an alarm, and the alarm will go off and alert me. That way I just don't have to keep coming over and looking at the temperature and checking it out every time. Alright, so the timer went off. It says it's at an internal temperature of 165. So it has actually been smoking now for almost exactly an hour and a half. So that sounds about right. Let's open it up. Oh my gosh, I wish you could smell this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this meat probe in a couple of the others just to make sure they all are on the right target temperature. Just want to check these. That one is also saying 163. So oh, it's going off, so it's saying 165. So I think they're all where they need to be honest with you. Go ahead and take these off. This smells incredible, and I don't know if you can actually see the color. Can you guys see that? That looks amazing. It smells so good. Let's take this inside. We're going to let it set for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. We're not going to let it set long because we're hungry and this smells incredible. Okay, so we brought them in. They were on the smoker for an hour and a half, and they've been in here for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just get one and cut into it and see how good it is. Oh yeah, it's definitely cooked all the way through. Smells amazing. All right. I'm really a big fan of that dry rub. That's really good dry rub. It's very tender, very moist. Guys, if y'all are interested, I will put in the description the dry rub, the temperatures, everything we described. I'll put in the description below. But anyway, appreciate you watching. Try this out and enjoy some good eats. See you next time.